The doors didn't slam shut. They locked quietly all at once. I was the only guard on duty that night. The building was supposed to be empty, but something felt off. The security cameras flickered as if trying to warn me. I reached for the radio. No answer. Static. Then silence. Every hallway echoed with emptiness, but I knew I wasn't alone. Something moved in the shadows. Slow, deliberate, watching. I couldn't see it, but I felt it. The hairs on my arms stood on end. My heart raced. My chest tightened. I tried to rationalize it. It was probably a rat, a flicker in the light, my imagination. But the air felt different. Heavy, waiting. I had been on this night shift many times before, but nothing had ever felt like this. Even the familiar corridors now seemed unfamiliar. Something about the angles, the shadows, the quiet, it didn't belong. I took a cautious step toward the main lobby. The floorboards creaked under my weight. A chair shifted slightly in the office I passed. I froze, waited, listened. Nothing moved, and yet I felt it. Every instinct screamed at me to leave, but all exits were locked. I swallowed hard, my throat dry, and started my patrol anyway, flashlight in hand. I walked past the stairwell doors. Locked. Emergency exits? Locked. Main lobby doors? Locked. There was no way out. I was trapped, and I wasn't alone. I tried to stay calm, focused on my patrol route, on the familiar paths I had walked hundreds of times. But tonight, everything seemed unfamiliar. The fluorescent lights overhead buzzed softly, flickering sporadically. Shadows stretched unnaturally across the corridors. I passed the offices on the second floor. Every desk was neat, every chair aligned, everything in its place except for one. One chair was slightly pulled out, facing the wall. I didn't touch it. I didn't even breathe. A soft scrape echoed somewhere far down the hall. I stopped, turned my head slowly. Nothing, but then the cameras on my monitor flickered again. A figure appeared, tall, thin, standing just beyond the corner I had just passed. I blinked. Gone. My stomach turned. I tried the radio again. Static. Silence. I whispered to myself, "It's nothing. It's nothing." But my voice sounded hollow. I moved forward, deliberately slow, shining my flashlight along the walls. Each step echoed loudly. Then another sound. Footsteps behind me. I froze. A shadow flickered across the wall, opposite me. I spun. Nothing. My mind raced. Was it a coworker? Impossible. I was alone. A door at the end of the hallway creaked open, then slammed shut. My chest tightened. I swallowed. My hand shook as I held the flashlight. I remembered the training. Stay calm. Observe. Report. But I couldn't report if the radio was dead. The silence returned. Too silent. I tried to convince myself it was just the building settling. But then I felt a presence behind me. Not moving, not breathing, just watching. I couldn't turn around. My body refused. I whispered to myself again, "It's just shadows. Just shadows." But deep down, I knew shadows don't lock doors. I decided to check the stairwell. Maybe I could reach another floor or an exit. My hand rested on the metal railing, cold against my skin. I pulled open the door. Locked. I tested the handle again. Locked. Panic started to creep in. Locked doors weren't unusual in a night shift, but every exit locked at the same time? That didn't make sense. My flashlight caught the edge of the stairwell wall. Shadows twisted. Something didn't belong. I took a cautious step down. The stairs groaned under my weight. Halfway down, I stopped. Heard it. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming from above. I froze. My flashlight shook slightly in my hand. Whoever it was or whatever wasn't supposed to be there. I whispered, "Hello." Silence. I crept down another step. Footsteps stopped. I held my breath. Then a faint whisper, almost too quiet to hear. "You shouldn't be here." My throat tightened. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I ran the rest of the stairs and checked the door at the bottom. Locked. Every exit, every stairwell, every emergency door. Locked. I was trapped. I moved toward the nearest office. The door creaked as I opened it. Inside, papers were scattered across the desk. Not by me. The chair had turned slightly, facing the wall. I swallowed, my hand gripping the flashlight tighter. I scanned the room. A filing cabinet drawer rattled open, then slammed shut. I jumped back. My mind tried to rationalize it. Drafts? Vibrations? But the building's HVAC was off. The night was still. Nothing should move. I turned toward the window. Darkness outside. A shadow passed across the glass. Slow. Deliberate. I stepped back. The chair rocked again. My breathing came in shallow bursts. I told myself, stay calm. Observe. But the fear in my chest was real. And then, the monitor in the corner flickered to life. Another figure, standing at the far end of the hallway I had just walked. I blinked. Gone. My heart pounded in my chest. I whispered, it's not possible. And yet I knew what I saw. I tried the second office on the floor. The door was ajar. I pushed it gently. The smell hit me first, musty, old metallic. Something in the air made my stomach churn. Papers on the desk shifted slightly, as if nudged by an invisible hand. A photo frame tilted on the edge of the desk. I reached to steady it. It fell before my fingers touched it. My hand recoiled. The monitor flickered again. Static, then another figure. I could make out nothing more than a silhouette, moving with intent. I swallowed hard. My radio? Dead. No one would come if something happened. I was completely alone. And yet, I felt watched. I exited the offices, moving back toward the main hallway. The air felt colder. My flashlight barely cut through the darkness. Then, faint whispers. Words I couldn't understand. Echoing from walls, corners, shadows. I froze. Step by step, I forced myself forward. My hand pressed against the wall for guidance. I glanced at the monitor. Another figure. This one closer. I stopped breathing. I couldn't move, couldn't call out. A door somewhere slammed shut, far down the hall. I jerked. My heart raced. Every instinct screamed, leave. But where could I go? Every exit locked. And then, a door slowly creaked open on its own, just enough to cast a faint sliver of light onto the floor. I didn't want to look, but I did. I tried the stairwell again. The door gave way slightly this time. I peeked. Darkness. Stairs leading down. Empty. I felt eyes on me. My flashlight flickered. On the monitor, a shadow moved through the stairwell I had just left. My pulse quickened. A soft scratching sound echoed above me. I froze. My mind ran through every possible explanation. None made sense. I swallowed, heart hammering. I whispered to myself, just stay calm. Just stay calm. But deep down, I knew calm wouldn't save me. I edged my way down the hallway, toward the main lobby. Every step echoed, bouncing back from the walls like mocking whispers. My flashlight caught the metal exit signs, flickering in sync with the buzzing fluorescent lights. The building felt alive. Not with people, not with machines, but with something else. Something watching. My monitor flickered. Another figure appeared, standing at the end of the hall I had just passed. I froze. My chest tightened. The figure didn't move, didn't blink. My breathing quickened. I whispered, who's there? Silence. Then a door slammed in the distance. My flashlight trembled in my hand. Every instinct screamed to run, but there was nowhere to go. The intercom buzzed. A faint, garbled whisper came through. I couldn't make out the words, but I knew it was meant for me. I moved closer, carefully, each step deliberate. The figure was gone when I got near the end of the hall, but then a shadow passed across my peripheral vision. Slow, deliberate, just beyond my flashlight's beam. I froze, heart pounding. Something was following me. My radio remained dead. No way to call for help. The shadow darted behind a wall. My light caught a glint of something metallic, a badge, or a reflection of my own flashlight. My mind raced. I whispered again, stay calm. But my body refused to obey. I realized with a sinking feeling that this wasn't a prank. Not a coworker. Not machinery. Whatever it was, it had been here the entire night. Watching. Waiting. And I was finally in its path. I stopped in the middle of the hallway. The intercom buzzed again. This time, clearer. Words I couldn't fully understand, but the tone deliberate. Male? Female? It didn't sound human. Each syllable dragging cold. My flashlight flickered violently, shadows stretching and snapping back. I stumbled, heart racing, my breathing shallow. The whisper repeated, and I realized it was coming from multiple intercoms at once. Surrounding me, I spun around. No one, just empty hallways. but the building felt alive. Every shadow, every corner, every flicker, waiting. I fled to the nearest stairwell. Door locked again. I rattled it, pounding with my shoulder. Nothing. Behind me, I thought I heard footsteps descending. Slow, measured. My flashlight flickered, and then I saw it again on the monitor. The figure, closer now, moving down the hallway I had just vacated. My stomach twisted. I whispered, "No, no, no." A metallic clang echoed above me, from the floor above. Something moved, heavy, deliberate. I couldn't look up. My mind screamed, "Don't look." But I could feel it. Closer. Watching. Waiting. Calculating. My pulse slammed in my ears. I realized there was no escaping. Not tonight. I retreated into a small office. Sat on the edge of a desk, gripping the flashlight like a lifeline. The air grew heavier. My ears rang. A faint whisper. Repeating my name? Maybe. I couldn't be sure. Then, something small, a pen rolled across the desk. Just a pen? Or a message? The monitor flickered one last time. And there it was, standing in the main corridor. Clear now. Human? Not human? Impossible to tell. I leaned forward, straining to see. Then nothing. Gone. But I felt it. Right behind me. Waiting. I stayed in that small office, frozen. My flashlight shook in my hand. Every instinct screamed to move, to run, but I couldn't. The air grew colder, heavier, as if the building itself was pressing down on me. I glanced at the monitor again. The figure was closer. Standing in the hallway, I had just fled. Clear now. No doubt about it. Taller than any person should be. Movements deliberate, unnatural. I swallowed hard, heart hammering. My radio remained dead. My training, useless. My phone, useless. Only the flashlight and my own shaking body. I whispered to myself, it's not real. It can't be real. And yet, every hair on my body screamed the truth. Then the intercom buzzed again. This time not static, not garbled. Words, clear enough. One sentence. You shouldn't be here. Cold, sharp, bone deep. I stumbled back, the flashlight swinging wildly. Shadows snapped against the walls like reaching hands. I turned to run, but the hallway behind me was empty, yet I felt it following. Every step echoed, every creak exaggerated in the oppressive silence. My breath came fast, shallow. The monitor flickered once more. The figure moved closer, then stopped. Head tilted as if observing me. And then it vanished again, the hallway empty, the building silent. But I could feel it, waiting, watching. I crept down the hallway, flashlight low, try not to make a sound. My eyes darted to the monitors. The cameras captured every movement, shadows shifting, doors opening and closing on their own, the figure moving with unnatural speed. I realized I had no control over what I saw. Every corridor I passed, I felt eyes on me. A shadow passed across my peripheral vision again. I froze, and then I saw it, just outside the office I had fled from. Standing, silent, watching. My pulse slammed in my ears. I couldn't think. I couldn't move. The intercom buzzed one last time. A whisper elongated low. You can't leave. I swallowed hard. Then the doors unlocked. Slowly, one by one. I blinked, hesitated. Every exit now open. I didn't question it. I ran. I didn't stop until I reached my car. Lights on, doors locked behind me. My hands trembled on the wheel. The building sat behind me, silent, empty, calm, too calm. I drove away slowly, glancing in the rearview mirror. Nothing followed, but I knew whatever was in there it didn't need to. It had already made its presence known, and I had seen enough to never forget. Even now, I remember the shadows, the whispers, the feeling of being watched. Every night since, I replay it in my mind. Every flickering light, every creaking floorboard, every whisper. I know it's impossible to unsee what I saw. The building, it wasn't haunted in a storybook sense. It was something else. Cold, deliberate, real. I survived the night, but the memory lingers. I can still feel it, just beyond the edge of my vision, waiting for the next guard, the next shift, the next person to step inside. If you stayed alert this long, subscribe. I post true night horror stories that will make you question what's real, sometimes too much. And if you think tonight's story was unsettling, wait until you hear what happened at the other building. Click next if you dare.